Hello, my name is Shia Ritchie, and I'm going to be covering the case studies that we did for week 3. First of all, forgive the quality of my video. This is all done on my computer because I took all my notes on my phone. But let's get started. So the first client is Amy, who is a P1. So the initial text, the client suggests that the client's in early labor. We would recommend her having like a little nighttime snack and hydrate, get really cozy, and rest. Her next text at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. would suggest the client might still be in early labor. So we might need to ask her a few more questions just to make a more concrete conclusion, such as like her comfort level and ability to withstand the contractions. But definitely just support and encourage her. The Friday call, the client would definitely benefit from a home visit just to like chat and support her. Ask if she'd like a cervical check. And then reminder of the 311 rule because the previous text messages would suggest that like she's still in early labor because they're irregular, 3 to 9 minutes, and then it goes to like 3 minutes, I believe, or 5 minutes and a minute apart. So she's still kind of early, and this is like her first baby, so she might be a little nervous. And she's also like living at home with her parents. She's young. The father of the baby is not necessarily like I don't probably not there to support her. So I think like the benefit of just having the wisdom and knowledge and safety of her midwife is probably going to do her a lot of good, and ability to just like rest, cozy up, and wait for active labor to start. So it's very tricky when you have like a client who's having their first baby because you don't necessarily know what type of like birth they have. Like for me, for instance, I both of my babies were very precipitous labors, so I had my babies very fast, and I feel like just because I am someone who had that experience myself, I would definitely want to visit the client if they're calling, texting, anxious, and I've noticed even a little bit of progress. I might want to check in like every 3 hours in a 12-hour period. Obviously not if it's like the middle of the night, but I just kind of want to see like, Amy doesn't even know what kind of labor she has, so it'd be nice to just like rule out if she's having a really fast labor. At least we've might have already seen her, spoken to her like 3 to 4 times just to make sure that like she's okay. So when we go to visit her at home, the vitals are good, heart tones are good, and the baby is ROP, which probably would explain her discomfort and long labor. So I'd recommend like Rebozos, the Miles Circuit, spinning babies, even. My protocol and the protocol of my preceptors would be to stay like 1 to 2 hours to check in, but would like probably leave if the client's showing like not much progress, especially since she's still in early labor. So just like continue that vocal and physical support. It's funny, one of my very first births was with an ROP baby. I'm sorry, it was a face presenting baby. So that's a story for a different day. Never mind. Let's move on to Bess. So Bess leaves a text about loss of fluid. So I would definitely ask her routine rupture membrane questions, such as like what time did you notice the rupture? What were you doing? Were you on the toilet? Were you walking? Were you running? Were you having sex? Was it colorless, odorless? That would rule out an infection. Have you experienced contraction since then? Was it a leak or a gush? That would help to know how imminent birth might be, or how much we should like consider. How quickly we want to get to her house. Is the baby still moving well? And since the client is GBS positive, we definitely want to do an immediate evaluation and start the prophylaxis antibiotics right away, which in the state of California is allowed. So her next call at 7 p.m. reports contractions again and a bloody show. And then her 9 p.m. was her wife calling and she's moaning in the background. So my preceptor always says if the husband slash wife slash birthing partner is calling and not the birthing parent, that would probably suggest intense labor to the point where the birthing parent cannot communicate properly, and that's always a good time to go in. So that's like a good rule of thumb that I like to abide by. So we do arrive at Bess's house. The vitals are good, the baby's heart tones are good, and she's moaning and breathing. So she's like 6 centimeters dilated. She's 90% of phase. She's -1 station. That like we're staying, right? We're gonna stay. And I'm gonna call backup. I'm gonna set up my equipment. I'm gonna set up the NRP station. I might even request that the birthing partner go ahead and fill up the tub because it's definitely about that time. Yeah, and like pretty much we're gonna rock and roll because though it could be a couple more hours, being like 90% effaced and -1 station, the baby's definitely, the labor's pretty, it's gonna ramp up. I'll say that. It's gonna ramp up. So let's move on to Claire, who's like our seasoned vet in the game. When she makes that initial phone call, everything sounds like super, super normal. And on Sunday, she's Q3, 1 minute apart, and it seems like active labor to me if we're going by that 3-1-1 rule. So I guess it will be time to admit her / drive to her home. So when we arrive, her vitals are good. And the fetal heart tones have some dips in the during contractions. I suppose we would not suggest that it's decel since they go back to baseline after the contraction's over. That would probably mean that we're tight on the cord, perhaps, or it could be anything else where the baby's position is just like a little uncomfortable. So we'll recommend a position change for Claire. If she declines a vaginal check, I would still go ahead and set up the room, the tub, maybe get equipment out. It's tricky when a client declines a vaginal check because we don't know how far along they are or where they are. But with Claire having had so many babies in the past, I feel like she knows better than we do when it's time to rock and roll. And it's so funny, we had a client who was on her 11th baby, and this was like the most hands-off birth I'd ever been to. We literally would close the door to the birthing room and just wait for someone to call us to come in because we were like, we trust her completely. And on top of that, she was so like meek and modest with her vocalizations, like like literally, like if someone pushed you to the side and you went that's how her contractions sounded. So I know 100%, especially when someone's had quite a few babies and they're a seasoned vet in all this, to just trust them. If they're declining a vaginal check, okay, big whoop. It's not that it doesn't really tell us much, especially when this person knows exactly what active labor feels like. It knows what, probably what a rupture membranes, transitional phase, all those things are like. So yeah, I don't think I had a relational like real life experience with someone like Bess. I feel like Bess just sounds like any other birth that you've ever been to. I've never actually dealt with a client that was GBS positive, but protocol does tell us that if ROM has happened, even if it's prom, as long as they're past the 37-week mark, that we definitely want to go in and administer the antibiotics anyway. And since we know that she called us and told us that contractions were happening, we're not really like talking about prom right now, but like that still means like it's time to go to Bess's house, administer, and then like do whatever else we think we need to do while we're there. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.